Hey, Austin Police Chief Art Aceveda is in here with us right now, and he's come to confiscate the guns.
I am all pro the Second Amendment. Every time I'm here, I have to get that out of the way.
I'm just teasing you. Anyways, how is everything going?
Good. We haven't had any controversy in the last 24 hours, so it's a good morning so far.
I ran into a police officer the other day that said he works at night, and you were out at 2 o'clock in the morning doing calls with him.
I do that on a regular basis, yeah. I was worked Saturday night. I was supposed to stay out till about 3, but it was so busy, I really didn't get home until 6 in the morning.
You have made international news.
God, you're going to have to bring it up.
With your comment. We have a clip of it. Here, you don't have headphones, but you know what you said. I actually played this earlier and said, really what you're saying is kind of true. You know, at least the police here aren't raping people with toilet plungers or raping women. But there you're admitting, though, that in North Korea and Mexico and Nigeria, the police are not too good.
Listen, police is imperfect everywhere in the world because the human condition is imperfect. And, you know, I wish I could go back and take back that analogy, because people that want to hate on the police, that want to create more mistrust of the police, have turned that into, at least she wasn't raped, which is absolutely not what was not on my mind. That is not what I meant, but, you know, it is what it is.
No, in fairness, I actually agree with what you said, but I can see how they took it out of context. You're saying, hey, usually it's a controversy of rape or corruption. I mean, at least this is just them, you know, taking a woman to jail.
Yeah, listen, there's a lot of misconceived notions on what happened there. This was, people saw a lady just sitting there screaming on the top. All that video shows is a young lady sitting down, screaming, using profanity.
For those that don't know, she was jogging and couldn't hear them saying stop.
Well, she passed an officer's. We weren't there to write tickets. We were there to try to get these young people to make better choices. We had, within a couple of hours of that incident, we had another young lady or male, I don't remember if it was a man or a woman, go across the street in front of a bus, got hit by a bus. The next day we had 3 more people.
It is true that the bikes and pedestrians do run out in front of cars all day downtown.
It's crazy. And so the bottom line is, she did not get arrested for carrying an ID. You don't have to carry an ID in the state of Texas when you're a pedestrian or when you're riding your bike. But if the officers are going to write you a ticket, you have to say who you are so they can write you the ticket. You can sign your promise to appear, and you're on your way.
The answer is like the Running Man. If we all wore explosive necklaces, when she didn't stop, they just blow her head off.
No, that's not.
No. The TSA is actually looking at taser bracelets to fly. Would you like to put a taser bracelet on yourself?
No, I'm not. I'm not sure that I'd be very interested in that at all.
Why not have explosives at birth planted in the brain, so if the government's mad at you, they just hit a button like Snake Plissken?
God, I love it.
Have you seen Escape from New York?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies. I love that movie. That's a great movie. The original. I didn't like the Escape from L.A.
No, the Escape from L.A. wasn't that good.
But it's been too long. I miss you guys.
Hey, talk about yourself a little bit. Your dad worked for the CIA in gun running against Fidel Castro, and now you work to get the guns here in America.
No, first of all, let me just say this, make it real clear. I will never support a gun control. I don't think that that's the answer. For me, it's more important to ensure that we do what we can to keep guns in the hands of law-abiding Americans of sound mind. And it's not about different weapon system. It's about making sure we do our best to keep them in the right hands. And that's law-abiding people, people that aren't crazy and people that aren't felons.
All right, now, the globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula, sourced from powerful organic herbs and then concentrated for maximum potency. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. For a limited time, we are offering 15% off Super Male Vitality at InfoWarsLife.com to introduce you to this powerful supplement. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality. InfoWarsLife.com.
Being called communist and fascist.
Who did that?
And everybody. I had some,
including me?
Some guy from, yeah, including you, but you know better. You know that I'm actually a pretty moderate guy.
Hey, seriously, though, we have the clip of you talking about this woman that got arrested for not stopping when she ran across the street jaywalking.
Down jaywalking. It's jaywalking is mid-block. It was for crossing against the red, not obeying a traffic control device.
Oh, so crossing across a red. Okay.
Yeah.
So here is the clip that's gone nationwide from Japan to England of him saying, at least our officers aren't raping people. Here it is.
That's not what I said, but that's okay.
Austin, Texas, that we actually had the audacity to touch somebody by the arm and tell them, oh my goodness, Austin police, we're trying to get your attention. Whew. In other cities, cops are actually committing sexual assaults on duty. So I thank God that this is what passes for a controversy in Austin, Texas.
So in other cities, they're actually having sexual assaults. You're glad that this passes as a controversy?
Well, listen, I would never. It breaks my heart in the time of instant information. Anytime a police officer falls short around the globe, because we're all painted with the same wide brush. And it was a bad analogy because I didn't know at the time, but it ended up being twisted. But, you know, Austin, life's about points of reference. Austin is such a great city, and our department is such a good department.
Well, I've been all over the country. I have to say the police are nicer in Austin than almost every other city.
Well, thanks. I mean,
the big cities, in the small cities, they're usually pretty nice.
And Alex, over the years, you've been a soldier for InfoWars, and you've confronted our cops, and they've never really put their hands on you. They've always been pretty professional, even before I got here. I've seen a lot of the videos, and you know, the frustration for me is this: I hold my cops to a very high standard. Our officers here get fired for things, and in a lot of departments they don't. And then this is the controversy. You don't get the option of opting out of a ticket by refusing to give your name.
I hear you, but here is the controversy, and then we're going to bring in the new Molon Labe women's shirt for your wife. Would you like a come and take it, your 300 shirt?
Well, let me see what it looks like.
We've got it. Bring it in here. The gold shirts, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, Arte Saveda, let's get a shot. Hold it up there, product placement with the Austin Police Chief. Hold it in front of the camera. Camera's right over here. See, right there. Oh. And does that not look good or what?
Yeah, it looks like the 300.
Yeah, and it's got the M4s crossed there. You think your wife will like that? Is that the right size for her?
Yeah, that's fine.
You got any daughters? What about daughters?
We've got Anna Sabana out there that would love.
Let's give her one. Bring her in here. Bring your assistant in here. The lovely police chief assistant.
She won't come in.
Come on in here. Well, we're going to give it to her, though.
Yeah, give it to her. Yes.
Come on. I mean, just available at InfoWarsStore.com. Helps fund the operation. Hey, you see the new studio? You like it?
It is fantastic. It's phenomenal.
I was too busy to ever launch it.
Well, when are you going to launch it?
Well, that's really small. That's like a small woman. I'm going to launch it in the next couple of weeks. We got a bunch of cable systems ready to pick it up. Let me ask you a serious question. I heard you a few months ago on the morning show with Sergeant Sam say, quote, follow police orders, even if you think they're unlawful, and you won't get hurt.
Well, I mean, if you look at police officers generally, and I can speak to 28 years of experience, generally are responding to the actions of somebody. That's why our use of force policy is called responses to resistance. I tell my kids, you don't fight a battle with the cops on the street. If you've been mistreated or you think you got falsely arrested or the ticket's not valid, there's a process to do that. And so I always tell them is that we take our grievances through the courts, through the police monitor's office, through internal affairs, but you just don't do it on the street. And, you know, it really saddens me when I see folks running from the police. You know, they get themselves hurt over silly violations that in Austin, Texas, might get you a slap on the wrist and you're putting yourself at risk running. It's just, it's something that has.
Or it might get you shot in the back.
Well, you know, I mean.
Now you can watch the Alex Jones Show live as it happens at Infowars.com/show.
You'll find links to all of our content there and a free 15-day trial for Prison Planet TV.
More than 60 movies and documentaries all in one place at Infowars.com/show.
I tell you, you have got like a bodyguard in here today. You don't usually bring 3 people.
You know what? They were at lunch and we were running late, so they picked me up to bring me here.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. No, actually, they're actually fans.
Why are those guys carrying Barrett 50 cals out there?
It's to protect you, not to protect
themselves. That's an idea. You ought to come out to the Real Steiner Ranch, 12,000 acres.
We talked about it, and you still haven't invited me, but you never follow through.
My buddy Shane Steiner, Sid Steiner, I will take you to the Real Steiner Ranch, and we'll shoot 50 cals.
Okay, anytime.
And we'll wait till someday where it's rained real hard so we can shoot up old trucks and stuff with the tracer rounds. It looks like a photon torpedo. You ever shot a 50 cal tracer?
No, I have not.
It's pretty awesome.
Okay, yeah. You said that last year when I came by.
That's it. We're going to do it.
Yeah, okay. All right. You didn't even answer a phone call.
We can have like cutouts of Austin citizens.
No, come on. That's not.
I'm just joking. Did you see the Homeland Security no hesitation targets of like little kids and stuff?
No, I have not seen that. I have not seen
What do you think about police departments getting these giant armored vehicles from Iraq?
We don't have one. Problem with those, you like the MRAPs and stuff like that?
Yes.
They're just, how do you operate those in small city streets? We're not interested in them here. We don't think they're conducive to a small, to the environment that we're in here in Austin.
But what kind of vehicles do you have that are somewhat bullet resistant?
We have some of our SWAT vehicles, that a couple of them, but that's all we need. Nothing that big. It's, you know, we're not worried about those things.
Well, you know, this is a short segment, long segment coming up. So much is going on. Here's my issue I raised from Constitution.org. Your right to self-defense against unlawful arrest, and then it goes through all the federal and state rulings about the right to not go along with an unlawful arrest. What about these cases now where the police just come in people's houses without warrants when there's not like a woman screaming and there's not probable cause?
When there's no exigency, you mean?
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's illegal. You cannot go into a home without probable cause, without a warrant, or without some exigency. And like and so that's something for a matter for the courts to resolve if that happens to somebody.
About a month ago, the kids were over at my parents' house. We were swimming in the hot tub in the pool, and they were shooting each other with water guns with cold water in them.
Yeah.
And there was yelling.
Was there fluoride in that water?
Yeah, I think there was. And there was yelling and screaming going on. The neighbors called the police on us. And they had my parents' gate code and came in, were real nice, and then left. But
that was in our city, wasn't it?
That was in Austin. That was my parents live in Austin.
Oh, your parents.
But what I'm saying is that what scares me is the tattletales that call the police for no reason.
Well, you know, but the problem is that people, you know, everybody blames the police for everything. We're not there, and when we get 911 calls, we're required to check it out, and that's why it's important to train rigorously, and it's really important for us to have good policies, good procedures, good training, and also to have robust, what I call integrity systems, you know, internal affairs systems, because the vast majority of police officers are upstanding members of the profession, but, you know, like everybody else, we fall short sometimes, and we have to be aware of that and be vigilant for it.
What do you make of the moves in the military to start replacing humans with robots?
You know, I'm kind of a guy that quite frankly, I don't know what they're going to do, but I worry about technology. Will we be able to control the technology? If you think about for a minute, when the internet was invented, nobody ever thought for a minute about the bad outcomes, the unintended consequences, all the crimes that are being committed on the internet. From, you know, the distribution of child pornography to fraud to stealing people's money, just all the things that the internet has.
The unintended consequences.
The unintended consequences are we're trying to build intelligence, an intelligent creature, an intelligent machine, and the question isn't how far we can go. The question is, will we be able to control it if we go too far? And that's what I worry about as a member of the human species.
Ask yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds? But seriously, I've been asking a lot of the questions. How about you say some of the things you think are most important today to the audience out there nationwide listening?
Well, you know, one of the things that frustrates me as a leader in law enforcement, a democracy's health starts with good government systems in terms of cops doing the right thing for the right reasons. And a lot of folks will tell me, 7 months ago, this happened. Well, it doesn't do us any good if you don't have the details. If we fall short, we'd like to know about it. We'd like to know the facts, and the sooner the better, so we can correct behavior. You cannot correct behavior that you're not made aware of, one. And two, when crimes occur, please report it. There's some folks that they don't want to trust the police, so they don't even bother reporting crimes. And you know, we can't go out for the bad guys if we don't know that the crime occurred in the first place. So, You know, I believe in engagement. That's why from day one, I've been coming here to engage you and the community you serve. And quite frankly, as you know, we sometimes have more in common in terms of what our thoughts are than we don't. But we want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. The only way we can do that is through mutual respect and through engagement and through brutal honesty.
What about the federalization of police? Because we all know that's going on, the federal funding, the threat fusion centers, the NSA. What's your view on the federal government? Is it out of control with the NSA?
Well, you know, I don't know if they're out of control. I think that because of what happened with the young man that's now in Russia.
Snowden?
Yes, Mr. Snowden, that some changes have been made. But I can tell you this, that the partners that we work with, they are very respectful of the Constitution. They know that in the Austin Police Department, we are committed to constitutional policing, and we are committed to respect the rights of the citizens that we serve, because our power really does come from the people that we serve.
But you guys do data mine what's open source, which is legal and lawful. Can you repeat to me what you said earlier out there, how you're concerned for me?
You know, if you get any threat, we may pick up on that, and because
you were saying you guys see the threats I get?
There's some associations out there, and so you kind of worry about, you know, threats against members of your community and against institutions in your community. And so what people don't understand is speech.
But really, because I'm aware of the threats, but you guys, you're actually aware of all the death threats I get? I mean, the public ones?
We do become aware of some of them, and we make sure that there's nothing to it. Because, you know, the bottom line is this. We all have a First Amendment right. But we don't have the right to make terroristic threats to people, to say you're going to kill them, that you're going to blow them up.
One time I got a call from the feds, actually, saying about 6 years ago that somebody was coming to shoot me at an event. And sure enough, the guy showed up. And sure enough, they drug him out, and he had a bunch of guns in his car and was planning, but they never got in trouble, though.
Well, let me just say this, that we are not interested in your political ideology. We're not interested in your beliefs. But when you start making threats to harm somebody, to kill somebody, to commit what's clearly a crime, we will always take that seriously, and we will always.
Well, that's illegal, isn't it? A call to action for violence?
Well, if you're threatening to commit a crime, absolutely, it can be a problem.
Yeah, because if you say, I'm so mad at Bob, I could kill him, but then you're not serious.
Right.
But if you start making plans to kill Bob.
Well, if you're going to say, you know what, I hate Bob, he's a piece of work, and I'm going to go kill him, that's not protected speech, because it doesn't mean that you can't say it, but it may result in an investigation.
I have the article here out of the Current. Police officer charged with sexually assaulting police explorer. I guess somebody went on a ride-along, a 17-year-old cadet. Is that the kind of cases you're talking about that you're glad Austin doesn't have?
You know, again, you know, that analogy, probably shouldn't have used it, but the frustration for me is that sometimes what passes for controversy in Austin, all we simply did was a woman ran past the cop who's standing there going, hey, stop, police, ran at him and past him and yelled, stop. The other officer sees it, runs after her, is yelling police, is right by her, is looking at her, stop, police, finally grabs her arm. When she takes off her earbuds, I don't give an F who you are, get your hands off of me. And then she looks like she's going to run again. Make a long story short, refused to say her name. All they want to do is write a ticket or a warning and move on with their day, and just lost it. We cannot, you don't get to opt out of a ticket.
I know, but I think the police are getting the blowback of the overall anger at the system and the political corruption at the top.
You know, what's really interesting is that when you look at the tweets and everything else, and then you follow, you know, I've gotten some threats myself because of this incident where people don't even have the facts. All they have is a video of a young lady sitting down on a sidewalk screaming. And somehow it's all the police's fault. They have no idea of how we got to that point. And so the threats that we've been getting and the anger you see who these people are, they're angry at the government, they're angry at everything else. But what I tell my officers is that we are operating at a time when mistrust of government is a historical high. So you have to be aware of that, and you have to be really good really fair and make sure that you're policing in a constitutionally lawful manner, because it's a very angry backdrop right now.
Well, that's why we are now deprogramming you and your love affair with Mayor Bloomberg and Mayors Against Gun Violence. I am giving you a extra large Molon Labe InfoWars Spartan shirt. Yep. And tell me, police chief, this is made in America. Feel that fabric. Available at InfoWarsStore.com. That's how we fund our operation. Do you like it? Yeah, it's very nice, very soft. Okay, you promise you're going to wear that? Yeah, when you take me to 50 caliber shooting it, you keep promising. That's going to happen. Does it include lunch, though? Yes. Okay. What do you want for lunch? Well, some of the superfood and everything else you got here. All right, we're going to do it. Okay, well, let's talk about it. We're giving you Fluoride Shield. It's kind of like you come to the Price is Right. Survival Shield, Super Male Vitality, and made by Navy SEALs. 1776 worldwide 50 caliber bottle breacher. That's pretty cool. In fact, give this to your deputy chief. There's another one inside there. That's pretty cool. All sorts of Liberty trinkets. Listen, Alex, we appreciate you always bringing us in here. You don't have to agree to disagree. And I think one of the things that we need to work on as a society is that sometimes people may have the right, they may be right on an issue, but because they're screaming about the issue, the way that they're expressing themselves ends up the people just hear noise instead of fact. Well, sure. I mean, I never came at this with some plan, and I did used to yell and scream a lot more than I do now. And I have noticed it's actually more effective to be calm. Yeah, absolutely. With the information a lot of the time. Yeah, people actually. I still remember your appearance with what's his name on CNN with. Piers Morgan's bye now. Is he gone really? Yeah, he lost his show 2 days ago. Oh, I didn't know that, but I remember that watching you. And now that was effective because I called him out. Well, I couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't stop laughing. I just leave it at that, and it was fun to watch because I don't think he knew what he got himself into. Art, do you want a twin fire 50 cal Barrett's handheld? Yeah, we'll do whatever. That would look pretty manly for everybody on the force. Everybody would think that's pretty macho. Yeah, but you said that a year ago. I'm still waiting. Oh yeah, that's it. You want to go on? I'm going to England to speak at Oxford in a couple of weeks. Okay. But when I get back, I'm going to call. You're no longer on the no-fly list. I don't think I was ever on it. Yeah, I know. I'm kidding. But my dad, because his name is so common, was on it for a while. Really? No criminal record. David Jones, a very common name. Yeah, I actually know an Alex Jones. It's not you. There's a lot of Alex Joneses now. Yeah, absolutely. Who was a number 2 guy on the California Air Patrol for a long time. Oh, really? Yeah, yeah. They'll probably say I'm secretly him now. Yeah, he's shorter than you are. No, everybody knows that you're part of the CIA, so. Everybody knows your dad really was, though. Hey, my dad, that's why when you call me communist, and people that know nothing about me call me a communist, I'm sorry. Well, I was saying, if you don't want the guns around, then that would be like supporting Fidel. No, you should go to Cuba. You know what? Why would I not want to have a process in place to try to keep guns out of the hands of criminals? Felons, drug dealers. Why? Gangbangers. Why? Because they're only going to use that process against law-abiding people. You know what? Look at Connecticut. They are now confiscating all the guns in Connecticut. Well, I don't pay attention to Connecticut. I'm talking about Texas. Texans are very responsible gun owners, are concealed handgun licensees. My uncle's 80-something years old. He still goes and qualifies all the time. I think we do it right in Texas. But you protect the Second Amendment by doing what we can to ensure that that prohibited gun owners and gun buyers we keep the guns out. But see, I believe that you genuinely see the good side of that. Yeah. Bottom line, Bloomberg and others want the abolition of civilian ownership of firearms. That's what the UN wants. Mike Martinez did say, hey, we're going to register them now, and you'll need that sign later. We're going to confiscate them later. There is an anti-gun attitude out there. Well, I mean, there may be, but I can tell you that the majority of American law enforcement, we are not interested. No, I know that. I know that. Out of the hands of American citizens. But I am interested in ensuring that one of the things that you might want to support, like they did in the state of California, is mandatory sentencing when you commit a crime and you use a gun. Where if you use a gun in the commission of a felony, you must do 10 years in prison. If you shoot somebody, you have a minimum of 20 years in prison. That really, when those mandatory sentences passed in California in terms of the use of firearms and crimes, it really had an impact on violent crime. So, but I mean, violent crime with guns has dropped 51%, the Justice Department's own numbers, since 1992. People need to quit blaming guns overall. More guns means less crime.
I'm not worried.
Does more guns mean less crime?
No, I'm not worried about.
Can you say Molon Labe?
I'm not worried about guns. I'm worried about guns in the wrong hands. And the more that we can, the more we do continue to reduce that of gun violence, the better position we'll be to protect the.
What about Molon? Can you say Molon Labe?
No, that's. I don't even know what that means.
It means come and take it.
Molon Labe?
Yes.
I've got that right by. Have you seen my office? I've got that framed right by my desk.
Come and take it.
Come and take it.
Oh my gosh! Well, that's what they said. You have that?
Yes.
Well, I promise
you. I will tweet a picture of that today, in your honor.
You are watching the best of the Alex Jones Show, weekdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central. Watch live at Infowars.com/show or become a member of InfoWarsNews.com and help us take resistance to the next level.